Hey, Jimbo, you ready for this deal?
Live action.
Howdy, friends and neighbors. Time once again for the Cowboys of the Osage podcast with your host, Jimbo Snively and Cody Garnett. Now let's sing a little bit about it. Cowboys of the Osage, riding once again. Always got some time for a friend. Here they are, the Cowboys of the Osage.
Woo, what about that new song that we got, Jimbo? I cannot believe it. I don't know which one I like better. I like them both equally, but that new one's kind of catchy.
It's real catchy, and he's got such a professional voice, it really comes over good.
I know. I thought I was asleep at the wheel doing it at first when they sent it to us.
Kind of adds a little class. It kind of classes us up a little bit.
we need
all
that's
that not
easy,
get,
Jimbo. That's not easy. Woo, howdy, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Cowboys of the Osage podcast, brought to you by the Ben Johnson Cowboy Museum and the Buck and Flamingo Turquoise Shop, both located right here in downtown historic Pawhuska, Oklahoma. It's old Cody over here, and as always, I have my main man with me, Mr. Rodeo historian himself, heck of a songwriter too, Jimbo Snively. Morning, Jimbo. Good to see you. Who we have here?
Hey, Cody boy, it's just another great day in Osage, man. And Cody, we've got Bobby Brock with us today, and he was one of the top cab ropers back in the day. Won all over IRA, the SCA champion, and but then at a time when most guys were wanting to quit, he decided to take up steer roping, and became one of the top steer ropers. Actually, won the Rookie of the Year, the oldest winner of the PRCA Rookie of the Year in steer roping in 1999 at age 49. Can you imagine?
No, heck no. I'm not even 49 yet, and I can barely get around, Jimbo.
I know. And he's a 10-time senior champion at Cheyenne. Now let that sink in.
Yeah, it wasn't even fair when this guy turned 50 and started.
Most guys are going to go to Cheyenne 10 times in their career, and he wins the seniors 10 times.
That's a big one.
Yeah, that's amazing.
A big one.
But anyway, he's full of stories, and we're just tickled to have him. And Bobby, welcome to the Cowboys of the Osage podcast.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Where'd you grow up at, Bobby?
I was raised in and around here at Cleveland till I was, in my 7, 8 years old. And then we moved, my dad ranched, and then we moved to Drumright. And there he got on with Kerr McGee. And, so that's basically been. Then I was there, went to school at Tahlequah for a semester, went from there to Central State, and then got my master's at Oklahoma State and was superintendent of schools there at home for 31 years.
Wow. When did the roping bug hit you?
Huh?
When did the roping bug hit you?
Well, I started competing at 6.
Oh, why didn't you start
They
earlier?
started hauling me at 6, yeah. Yeah, I started at that AJRA in the 12 and under and did real well. And then finally my dad come to me and he said, you didn't pay that much. We didn't have a lot of money. And he just said, son, we're going to have to stay around home, which was fine. So got kind of interested in the OJRA and won a little bit in there and went from there, stayed around home.
Dang, from 6 to 73, that's a pretty long career.
That's a long career of roping right there, Jimbo. And he's still roping.
But Jimbo, one mistake. I didn't win Cheyenne 10 times. I won the senior.
Didn't I not say senior?
No, you said Cheyenne.
Okay, I meant to say, I intended to say
won
the senior champion at Cheyenne. Yeah.
Well, that's like the Masters right there, Jimbo.
Right.
All the best ropers in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Once they turned 50, they were all in there in Cheyenne.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Probably the toughest one I knew is sitting right here behind me.
Yeah, Rocky Garnett snuck up on us. Yeah.
Yeah, they've had a lot of good ropings together. My dad and Bobby have, for sure.
Right.
No doubt about it. Your dad ran ranches for people, huh?
Worked for ranches. Can't remember the lady's name at Lenapaw. That's where they got associated with Choate. And they bird hunted together, and then they roped together, and I got acquainted with him, and then he'd send me up there in summertime when I'd get out of school. I think, Jim, I told you I was 10, 12 years old, and spend a week with him.
Were they hunting on horses then?
Nope. Yeah. They bird hunted.
He started that later when he got kind of crippled up. He started roping, hunting off horses, and he'd put cotton in there, and he'd shoot off the horse.
Oh, yeah.
and train the dog come up
Oh, yeah.
and jump up on or lean his feet up on the saddle and take the bird. You know, it's
And
pretty
then
amazing.
at the end there, Shote would come when I'd be at a steer open somewhere.
Yeah.
He'd come watch. Yeah.
Yeah, Shote loved the bird hunt,
Yeah, he did.
and he had some good hunting over
Yeah,
there.
he did. Yeah.
When you stayed up there with Shote, did you guys rope all day, every day, or did he make you put in a full day's work?
We
Then
put
y'all
in a
went and
full
roped?
day's work. I'd just a kid, and he'd go out there and say, "There's a pen of horses out there, Brock. Go pick you one out." May not even be broke very good, you know. So, but I took my kind of a little old Shetland, wasn't a Shetland Welsh pony that I roped calves on. And every evening, he'd just run some Bramer cows in with little baby Bramer calves by their side, never been roped. Get in there and rope. I was telling Jim a while ago, I may be 3 minutes getting one down. And no mercy. You stay hooked. Yeah. And I was telling Shirley kind of took pretty good care of me while I was there. Yeah.
Shote had a reputation as the workingest guy there ever was.
Come in there and get me every morning about 4:30.
Oh, man. What'd
Yeah.
y'all have to do all day, every day?
You know, about everything. He had that Fred Lowry ranch at that time, which was about 12,000 acres, if I remember right. And we'd check cattle, and, you know, we just work all day. May have to build a little fence, you name it. Whatever.
That's the same way my dad was, Jimbo. We'd have people come over all the time. They'd say, "Hey, we're going to come over and rope." He said, "Yeah, come on." They'd get there early in the day. We'd have a bunch of stuff to do.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's fixing fence or going together
That's
into some
right.
cattle. And
Before you get to rope.
working some cattle. Hell, we wouldn't get to rope until about 6, 7 o'clock that evening.
Shote got that from Fred Lowry because Fred Lowry was like that.
Was he?
Yeah, what I always heard.
Did Shote have old Fred Lowry's old roping dummy over there still?
You know, I don't remember a roping dummy there. It might have been there, but I don't remember a roping dummy. As a kid, when it got time at dark, when we got to quit, I was tired. I don't hardly remember anything. He worked me all day. Yeah.
Did you learn anything from Shote? Maybe that you took.
You know, Shote and my dad were a lot alike, Jim. They, you know, if you're not up by 4:30 or 5, you're gonna burn daylight. It's time to get busy, you know. Right. And so that's what for 30 years I kicked on. I probably had 10, 12 outside horses. We trained cutting horses. And then when I'd get out of school, and I went down every morning at 4:30 and saddled the broncs, tied them up. Then we'd ride the horses after school and turn the lights on, practice roping, start about 10 o'clock. So we stayed pretty busy.
Did they have feed trucks back in when you were
No,
a kid?
we didn't
How
have
did
any
y'all
feed-
feed them cattle all winter long?
No, we didn't have feed
Back in the
trucks.
old days, Bobby.
Yeah.
How'd y'all do that?
You know, usually just throw sack feed in the back of a truck, and that's how you fed. Yeah.
100-pound sacks too. It wasn't
That's right.
50 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many kids today would even know what a gunny sack is?
I always heard they were called toad sacks.
Our
for
toe
some reason.
sacks and gunny sacks. I don't know how we get by without
That's
them.
what I
because-
called them, Jim.
Yeah,
was
toe
gunny
sacks.
sacks.
Yeah, gunny sack and
Yeah.
toe sacks. But we used them for everything.
I
you
kept
know.
them around to clean my ropes off at times. Yeah.
You put everything in the gunny sack. Even when you went fishing, you didn't
That's
need a
right.
stringer. You put your fish in a gunny sack and throw it in the water and put a rock on it where a fish couldn't drag it off in the water.
You don't even need luggage or anything if you got those, Jimbo.
Yeah, I know it. I don't know how we get by without a gunny sack.
I miss a good old gunny sack, really.
But you know, back in that day, everybody match roped. We match roped all the time, and over the years, probably had 15, 20 match ropings. That's what we did back in that day. You'd go to calf ropings. Marty Brock and I, we'd go to 4 or 5 ropings a weekend. You'd start Thursday and rope Friday, and one after the show Friday, and then you'd rope Saturday, and after the show Saturday. Many times we'd make 5 rodeos a weekend. Yeah.
That's rodeoing right there, Jimbo.
That's getting it.
5 rodeos in a weekend, not a week.
Yeah.
Right.
That's getting it.
Yeah. Who were some of the other guys roping back then? They were pretty tough.
Oh, gosh, rope with Jack Foreman, rope with David Martin. Let's see. Of course, Marty roped with me. Who were Joe Grayhouse roped there. The Campbell boys all roped. The Foreman boys, Dick Foreman, all those guys roped with us. Those were some of the guys. And then when we go to Texas, we'd rope with all those guys down south. We went to Arlington. They usually have 4 or 5 header, and then that's where I had several match opens down there. Them guys from Texas would come in. They'd usually have a 4 header, and then after the 4 header, be a match. Somebody'd match. Yeah.
Who's some of the guys you matched?
Oh, just around here, I matched the White Boys, Wade Walt a couple of times, Ken Dexter a couple of times, Gary Johnson, Buddy Jeter, Joe Grayhouse, Dexter, I think. I think Gary Johnson had so many, it's hard for me to remember. Sylvester, match rope Sylvester down in Texas. Larry Kelly down in Texas. So just.
Well, Sylvester, he's a tough one, wasn't he?
Yeah. I missed my first one. Sylvester, Danny Hamilton twice. He won the world in IRA. Matched him twice. So yeah, just a lot of fun back in. I always had backers.
Yeah.
So it would you would.
Do you have to put in your own money up?
Very seldom.
Very seldom.
No. They'd rope anywhere from, the guys I had would rope. Now, when we went down and roped Sylvester, I missed my first one and got off, so I was a long time. Couldn't catch back up. Roped good the last, I think we roped 8-hitter. And then after that, Mike says, well, we need to get some of our, Gary Johnson, Dexter Bailey were with us. We need to get some of our money back. So Mike says, I'm going to match Sylvester running down the rope. And I said, okay. I think I had $100 left, and Dexter and Gary had a little bit. And we put the money up. Mike had him. I think Sylvester missed stringing one. We had him a few tenths at halfway. And I was sitting over there on the fence because he had just got through beating me. And he walked over to me. He said, I'm going to bet you another 100. I beat him in the match, and I beat him on the last 5. I had 100 left, and I said, okay. That's all I had in my pocket was 100. Why, he beat us on the last 5 and won the match. I think we had to borrow money to get home. Everybody bet everything they had because we had a lead. So, but we did a lot of stuff like that back in those days. Tom Walker, another one roped with all those years. Terry Davison was another one roped with against all those years. Yeah. In fact, I got to visit with Tom the other day. He's had a little health problem. Good friend.
Sound like Sylvester was kind of a pool hustler, didn't it?
Well,
he had beat Roy 3 or 4 times.
They grew up out by each other.
Right.
For people that don't know who Sylvester is, clue them in a little bit, would you, Jimbo?
Well, he's Shad's dad.
Yeah.
He had won Calgary.
Yeah.
He made the national finals.
yeah.
He was
he was
known as one of the toughest ropers of all time.
Very toughest, for sure.
You were with Mike Johnson, you said?
Yeah. I didn't ever match Mike Johnson. I think I matched Gary, his brother.
Gotcha.
And but I went and roped with Mike Johnson a lot. I went down to Mike's one time, and I never was very big. Mike was a big, stout kid, and went down there to rope. He called me up, says, "Come on down and rope with me." So I went down there and roped with Michael, and he had some wore out black calves that probably weighed 260 pounds. And I'd run rope one. I couldn't get a leg off the ground. He'd tie him in 10. It was just big old stout kid. Yeah, I couldn't even get a leg off the ground when I'd try to flank one.
Did you ever travel with him any?
Not Mike.
Not Mike. I heard some interesting travel stories from that guy.
The ones I traveled a little bit with Pake. Pake and I went quite a bit together in '99. Philip Miller just passed away.
Yep, heard that.
Rocky and I come back from Sheridan together, Rocky Patterson. And then when Gannon, he won the Rookie of the Year, he was going with me, started steer roping, was about 15 years old. And he's been ropey all his life, Gannon. But he's quit.
That guy ropes horns really good. And I heard he used to rope calves pretty good.
Yeah, probably better than he roped horns.
Really?
He was really ropey. He won that CRRA one time too. Yeah, really ropey.
Those roping Okies, they're tough to beat, these little associations around here.
Yeah.
They're just some of the fastest and the best in the world.
What about our Okie boys winning the tying match? Did you see that out there?
Oh, yeah. Well, I knew they were going to, hands down. I've done run down the rope with Chet before and knew all about that deal.
You used to be bad running down the rope. I remember that.
But, those guys are pretty hard to fade.
Yeah.
Cole Patterson and Chet, they're just
they did
fast with their hands.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, and it is. They don't make very many mistakes, so that's the key. I never was very fast.
I think Cole put a 2 wraps and a half hitch on every steer I saw.
Just the first 2 in the match.
Okay.
And then he went.
That must have been when I
he kind
quit.
of got a little bit behind, and he went to putting that hooey on one.
Oh, yeah. The way we used to do it, they used to put everybody's name in a hat. Draw 2 names out, Jimbo, and those 2 names would match, so on and so forth. But wrapping of hooeys were illegal. You couldn't take wrapping of hooeys. It was only 2 wraps and a hooey only, and time stopped. They ran it tournament style. How we used to have one before every single roping. Rocky Patterson was entering them, and
He's
Todd
pretty.
Casebold,
I
all
bet
of them.
Rocky ties pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, he don't mess up very often.
No.
He's pretty hard to beat.
You know, and Trevor and them boys, I started throwing, you probably do, when I started stringing the top leg on the left side and throwing it under. But Trevor, and I said if I had to do over again, I'd probably tie like Fisher and Rocky Patterson, where you don't ever throw it out. You know, they string from this side, just string and then gather the legs.
Yeah, they string them left-handed on the left side, which is
Well, they string right-handed.
really.
A lot of the old timers used to string right-handed. My grandfather string right-handed, but I always string left-handed.
Yeah, I thought on the left side
you
those
string
guys
left-handed?
Yeah, always
I
string
always
left-handed.
string right-handed.
I've always
For,
strung
for a
right-handed.
left-hand tie, obviously.
But you know, the years when I started, the guys that had to rope against, Rock wasn't old enough, I don't think. It was Arnold Phelps that I roped against in the senior, and
Wade Lewis.
Wade Lewis.
You had a lot of battles with Wade Lewis, didn't
It
you?
was yeah. Wade, I think, won that thing about 6 times too. Yeah,
Boy, he was tough to beat.
yeah. Yeah,
Holy
Wade
moly.
and I were friends. In fact, I call him every month. He's got some health problems.
Does he?
Bad. Yeah.
Be sure and tell him we said hello
Yeah,
next time you
Wade's
talk
got
to
a few
him.
health problems. Been praying for him. He's a dear friend. Yeah.
What about Monty? What's he up to?
You know, Bonnie come years ago. I think the year after. I may be wrong on this. Year after he won the world, he come down and roped calves with us, and he still had that good sorrel horse that he won the world on.
Oh, yeah.
And we had a good time with him. I think he and JR tied with each other. Of course, I think I was gone. But anyway, he spent the afternoon with us. Monty did.
Oh, yeah, you
That's
do.
a hurricane, we call him.
That's
Yeah.
what they call him, the hurricane.
Oh, yeah. That's what they called him. Yeah.
Well, you were beating him in the calf roping, and what made you want to get into steer roping?
Well, I'll tell you exactly why. I hips got bad, and I couldn't sit on a calf any longer. And I had to change everything up. So at 45, Marty asked me to go one more time with him to them calf ropings in the CRRA. I think I was 44, 45, and I just went to the good ones and ended up. I think Marty won it that year, and I ended up 4th. And I just went to kind of the better ropings, but it got to the point that I couldn't tie a calf very good. And standing up steers didn't bother me. So it was Paul Magdeburg and Rod Carroll. They're the ones that taught me to go to steer roping. And that's how that started. Mike Bailey called me and he said, I got an old pale-face horse out here that they rope steers on. Come get him. And that's when I went and got that old horse, roped a little bit at home, and then my first year went to the sea roping at Osage. Yeah.
Where were they having the ropings in? At the seas?
Delbers.
Oh, Delberton, okay.
And Paul Huska both.
Yeah, okay.
It might have been Paul Huska. I think it was Paul Huska.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to Paul Huska on that pale-face horse.
Didn't you win a trailer that year, roping steers?
I kind of think so. I can't
He
remember
did.
what.
First year he
Yeah.
started roping steers, he won the trailer.
And then they moved me to the B the next year, and I think I won the B the next year. And then I think they moved me to the A, and I won the A the next year. But that was when that, and Rocky will know this better than me, if you hadn't been to the finals in like 3 years, then you couldn't rope in the A. So that's probably the only reason I won the A. Yeah, none of the,
I doubt it.
None of the big boys were there, so that's the reason I won the A.
A lot of good ropers, though, that hadn't been to the final in 3 years that can pull up to a roping,
Oh, yeah.
beat you.
No doubt about it.
But during that time, Rocky was making the finals, and maybe Jim Davis was winning the world. And Jim roped with Rocky, and Jim roped a bunch in the seniors, and of course Rock won it. And let's see, Wade Lewis won it several times. I was trying to think. Lately, Shorty's won that thing a few times too. He ropes good.
Yeah, that guy's pretty hard to beat too. The older these guys get, part of them, the better they get, Jimbo. It's the dangest thing I've ever seen.
I know it.
That's just how the steer roping event is.
Older I get, the stiffer I get.
Well, I can relate to that, Jim.
In all the wrong places.
Yeah.
How do you keep yourself in such good shape, Bobby, being 73 years old, still tying steers down competitively?
I rope every day.
Yeah.
Very seldom do my horse is old, so very seldom I get off and trip steers. I might trip one. Mike Johnson called me this past week, and he said, I've got about 10 steers. So I got a yellow horse that belonged to the Munsales, which were dear friends of mine. They left him with me, and I went down there and tripped a couple on him. And but most of the time, my practice is daily, but it's breakaway, and then once or twice a week, we'll throw one down, run down the rope and tie, probably at least 10 times on each side.
Who ropes with you?
Carl Cantrell ropes with me quite a bit. He's got a boy, and then if they don't, Mama back here's turned out $1 million, over the years. And so Carl comes down, then we went down to Mike Johnson, and then those Munsales lived next door to me for 3 or 4 years, and they roped with me every day. So they kind of like family. They moved off. They're working for that Singleton Ranch out in New Mexico now. Yeah. Carl's a dear friend. He tries to come down about twice a week. In fact, he's coming down tomorrow. We'll rope, and then this weekend we'll rope a bunch and tie a bunch. Yeah. Just getting ready for the finals.
Is that next week?
Yeah, we rope a week from tomorrow at the finals at Kansas Star.
That's up there in Mulvane, I guess.
Mm-hmm. They changed that thing lately. For years, I think Rock will know, but it was an 8-header for a long time. And now they've changed it to a 6-header. Yeah.
You rope them all that day, or do you got 2 days?
No, you rope 3. Well, you used to rope 4 one day and 4 the next. Now you rope 3 one day and 3 the next.
What are the rules to enter the senior roping that you're in?
Well, the rules is you got to be 50 years old. So you can turn 50. The year you turn 50, you can rope. Like Gannon and like Chris Glover, them guys their birthday's in December, so they could rope all year long at 49. And some of the guys are like that. I don't think I joined the senior until I was 51 or 52 before I even got in. So I didn't rope my first 2 years in it.
You're kind of a non-typical rodeo cowboy. It seems like to me that you stay home and take care of business instead of going out there and entering everywhere you can.
Well, when I was raising a family and superintendent schools, many times I'd be sitting real well in that calf roping, and being a superintendent, you're employed year-round. So a lot of times I couldn't go. And probably when I roped the best I roped back in my 30s and 40s, I didn't get to go. And then Laura and I got married, and we've been burning up the road there for a few years. Now I've slowed way down. Just like this year, I think I went to 5 senior ropings and went to 4 of that Johnson Hartness Association.
On those 5 senior opens you entered, what was your winning percentage this year?
Well, I won 2 or 3 of them and placed at a couple. So one of them I didn't win anything, but I did all right.
What about the Hartness Johnson ropings? How was the winning
Well,
percentage?
it was a little better. I think I won the first 3, and then the last one, everything got up. I didn't win anything in the last roping.
Man, had 2 ropings you didn't win anything in between those 2 associations.
Yeah, I think that's right.
What the world's the matter with you, Bobby?
Yeah.
Heck go.
But the thing, I never was very fast like a lot of these guys were.
Bull.
It was a catch loop, And
well, that's the first thing you got to do.
That's it. And far as I was concerned, when I was roping, the best catch loop was the guy sitting behind me, without question.
Hey, Bobby, I was going to ask you about your horn roping so well, because you do rope an extreme and large amount of horns. The percentage of misses isn't very much. How do you differ it roping a calf around the neck and roping horns so well? What do you do different?
Yeah, somebody asked me that the other day, if it was hard to change from roping calves to roping steers. And it wasn't for me, because roping steers is just something that I always just kind of watch my tip. And I just kind of keep my rope and tip where you rope calves. And another thing, when you rope calves, you kind of, you're looking at that calf. I always kind of rope at their shoulder. When you rope at their shoulder, then you're going to rope them slick around the neck. Yeah. But it never affected me, but I had a lot of my friends that do it, and then they'd go back to roping calves and top knot everything. But
Your tip, do you lengthen your spoke out to make your tip not drop, or do you shorten it up to rope them around the neck?
When I'd match rope and calf rope, I kept a short spoke. In steer roping, because the more spoke you got, the more action's on the rope. So in steer rope, I'd have a little more spoke. Calf roping, I'd shorten the spoke up. Yeah.
So when you shorten it up, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, that naturally brings your tip down
That's
a little
exactly
bit.
right.
And then when you lengthen it out, it naturally flattens your tip
That's
out
it.
a little bit.
Yeah, you level that rope out when you're roping steers. Yeah. And when you're roping calves, same thing, you get up in front of that saddle, but you kind of got to dip on that rope.
Yeah, that's what I always heard. You got to put more dip in your
That's
rope. That's
right.
what my
That's
grandfather
what you
used
do.
to say. Mm-hmm. But he called it a bill. I've still never can't get used to spoke. All them old timers I grew up with call that the bill of your rope.
Oh, really?
Have you ever heard it called
Never
that?
heard that.
That's what they all call
You'd
it.
think I'd hear as old as I am.
I've never heard spoke my whole life.
He's right on the edge of that generation.
2 or 3 years.
I'm about right there, Jim.
Between your hand and your hand is your bill. I just can't
Yeah.
get used to spoke. Kind of like the bill of your cap, you know.
That's right.
But
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed and made a lot of good friends, Rocky and Jim Davis. Now, Jim Davis knew me quite a bit before then, because if I'm not mistaken, he's up there around Ponca City, and I roped a lot of calves. I went up there, they had a calf roping, and I think Jerome and that bunch, I'd go up there and rope on like a Friday night or a Thursday night. We'd go up there and rope calves. And so got to know Jerome. In fact, Jerome's been to the house a time or two.
That's a guy right there, Jerome Schneeberger. Mm-hmm. Fastest hands I've ever seen on a calf roper.
Yep.
Yeah.
Period.
And big and strong.
On roping. I mean, and I've seen him tie steers down, and he can tie steers just as fast as he can tie a calf, Mm-hmm. Wonder what he's doing now.
I heard
He's over in Ponca City doing something.
Yeah, I don't think he's roping much. I think he's got.
is that his boy that ropes?
That's his boys,
His boy
yeah.
ropes pretty good. I've seen him on Facebook. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's his boys. But I don't see Jerome much anymore. No.
Well, I truly consider him one of the ropingest suckers I've ever seen in my life.
He stayed with there for a while. Jerome went and stayed with Barry and Blair, and got real tough down there. Yeah, he got real tough down there. Yeah.
Boy, that guy, he could sure rope, I sure thought.
You were talking about laying a steer down earlier in time. Did you do any much sled work, or did you just hold them, lay them down, hold them?
No, I never did any sled work. No, we'd just, in fact, I never really had anything. When I first started, Magdeburg and Rod Carroll got me started. We had a couple of horses, and I'd try to trip 6, 7 a night. And that's how I kind of got started, tripping 6 or 7 a night. Kind of got some timing and everything else, but we never did. We always tied, but we'd just choke one down, tie it off to a fence, and run down the rope. Yeah. And then my dad built he built kind of a tying dummy, and so when nobody was around, I'd go down to the arena, and I'd put that dummy out there at the end, come off that fence, and practice tying for an hour till I couldn't breathe.
Yeah. Now they've got these dummies. I see them advertised for sale.
Oh yeah, they're all over
pretty,
Facebook.
Yeah, and they're pretty sophisticated. And I even saw somebody dragging one with his horse, just like he was logging his horse or tying a steer and getting off and tying that dummy. Of course, that's easy on your cattle, But I hadn't even thought of using it like that.
We used to strap one down to a sled, Jimbo.
Yeah, I did too.
Hook it behind the pickup.
Yeah.
And go down a gravel road. And I'm telling you, your hands get a little skinned up
Yeah.
tying
Oh my!
on a gravel road.
I built a saddle rack on that bolt to the back of a bumper of a 1-ton. You throw your saddle on that and then drag that steer,
Oh, yeah. Iron
And that was
horse.
good practice. I mean, for as far as getting your footwork down and everything.
I see some of them using a tractor now, and they fix something there where they step off of that tractor and run down there and tie a steer.
Yeah.
We didn't use tractors that didn't go fast enough. Heck, I think they're going about 40 miles an hour half the time. They had me stepping down. Mm-hmm. It's pretty wild. Mm-hmm. It's pretty wild growing up over there in Kansas tying steers on the dirt roads.
Yeah, I bet. I bet.
Oh, my. Yeah.
But that practicing that tying will make you some money.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
That's the tying deal is, like I said, I wasn't that fast, but you just don't make many mistakes. And so I think that's the key to winning is fewest mistakes that you can make. Don't miss trips and don't miss stringing and don't miss your ties up. And then I think that's – and right, when I won the rookie, Jim, sorriest horse I ever owned. It's an old black horse that come from Rod Carroll, and it could run legit. I think Rocky had him.
Yeah, I bought him from you, Jim. Bobby once.
But I didn't like that horse at all, but I won the rookie.
He won everything on that horse.
Yeah, but he wouldn't, that horse, if I'd have had one of my good horses, it would have been a different story. But I think I won between 8,000 and 10,000 on him that year to win the rookie. And I think I went to, 17, 18 rodeos is all. I just couldn't get away.
Mm-hmm.
First time I ever saw him rope a steer, Jimbo, I remember we were at this little rodeo called Belton, Texas down there, and they have it in a little bitty dome, big round dome. And it's a little bitty, one of the littlest arenas you'll ever rope steers in probably. And Bobby jumps out there and ties like 2 of them in 9.
No, I don't think so.
We're like, who the heck's this guy?
But the black horse, he drug off with me quite a bit, Code. That's one of the things that...
it didn't seem to affect you a whole lot, though. You kept hustling, Bobby, and went ahead and got him strung and got him crossed about as soon as he stopped. And
I remember specifically one time at Pecos, I placed in the first go-round, I don't know, maybe 4th, and it kind of broke wide open, and I had a steer that was pretty legit in the second go-round, and I wrote him out there to play something, and he rounded the arena 3 times with him before I got him shut down. Yeah. So I remember that.
Bobby, you won the Senior Open at Cheyenne 10 times, which is unbelievable.
No, I just won the Senior Open at Cheyenne once. I won the World in the Senior Open 10 times.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's
I got to start off wrong, and then you
gosh
you
dang,
picked up where I left off.
It's hard to tie 3 steers down at Cheyenne, much less win it 10 times.
No, I just won it once.
Well, we were all messed up right off the bat, Jimbo.
I know it.
The Senior Open world champion 10 times.
Yeah.
I would have thought more.
Yeah. Thought more than 10?
Yeah. I mean, he's 73 years old. He should have done one at 23 times by now.
Yeah.
Well,
according to my
I was several years I was out of a horse. So that kind of, it's hard beating them guys when you don't have a very good horse. So, yeah.
Pretty tough.
Yeah.
Pretty tough.
What
do you look for in a horse, Bobby, when you're going to buy one?
Anymore, I don't want anything. I never did like a ducker very well. I had a couple of duckers, but
he got them ducking pretty good.
Yeah. I was that. I did do that.
He didn't swing over their back any, Jimbo. I'm telling you right now.
But I don't. I like kind of a smaller type horse. Kind of, I think what everybody wants, something 14, 2 or 3, and weigh 1,200 pounds. About what everybody wants. I think the old sorrel horse I ride now, which has been a real great, still is. He's lost a step or 2, but he just, wherever you rope one and get your trip, you can't make him go up to 10. You can just let him have it. Boy, he'll just get back under it. Yeah. And I've been fortunate enough to tie some cattle down on him this year. Yeah. I drew pretty good, That's the other thing. I draw good. That's what I'd say.
Hey, when you're living right, Jimbo.
Right. You bet. What did you, when you practiced, Bobby, did you break away a lot? I think you mentioned that there a while ago.
I do. I talked to a lot of guys like Wade when he said he never break away any. Cody Lee's a friend. He said he doesn't break away any. But I kind of save my old body. I break away.
Wouldn't save you. I don't know how your horse could. Yeah. How you could get enough roping in?
Now I got
unless you had a whole pen full of horses.
That this spring I'll be able to break away a few on him. Yeah, or tie a few down on him. But the old horse I very seldom do tie many down on him. Yeah, he's be 25 after the first of the year.
Well, he doesn't need it. He knows what
Oh no,
he's supposed to do.
no, he's been a good one. Yeah, he's been a good one. But anyway, steer roping's been good to me. Calf roping was good to me from 6 to 40, and yeah, I got a couple of guys now that wanting me to get my knee fixed, and we may start roping calves in a few years.
You said you entered a calf roping here the other day, didn't you?
You know, I did too. Terry Todd called me, bought a real nice horse, and we went to Graham, Texas. I think this was 2 years ago, and that was before Riley Webb's dad bought that Ultimate, and I can't remember the guy that run it. And they had some nice little 150-pound calves, you know, and they let me into 12. And I figured I was 71 then, they'd let me into 12, and I placed in the first 2 rounds, and they called me to the announcer stand and handed me my entry fee back. Said, you can't rope into 12. So that's the last time. I'm hoping this coming summer, they'll let me back in it a little bit.
You seem to have that problem in a lot of places you go, Bobby, I feel like. You know, whether it's the Osage Opens or possibly classifying you in the senior opens or in the calf roping. I mean, they just don't know what to do with you. Your guy's 70 years old, and you're still beating all these young guys.
Well, I don't know if I beat them that much anymore.
To me, you should just be at the top of the class. That's what they should strive to beat you in the B roping or in that 12 roping. I mean, they'll
let me in the B roping at Osage now.
They?
Oh yeah, I just hadn't went in the last several years. They'll let me in the B roping now. But you know, they were scoring them about 18 foot, and my old horse is 24.5, so I just quit going. Oh yeah, I'm a bona fide B roper anymore.
until he goes for a year.
Yeah, I'm a bona fide.
And then they're going to jump him right back to that A's, I'm
no,
sure.
No, they wouldn't do that. I mean, to go out there and rope, you got to rope against Cole, and you got to rope against Chet, and you got to rope against Rocky, and Cody Lee comes up. I can't rope with those guys. Catch with them, but I can't rope with those guys anymore.
But the problem is the guys in the B roping can't rope with Bobby.
Right. He's just kind of a tweener, isn't he?
Oh, there's a bunch of them in there that probably rope better than me now.
I don't think they're going to catch as many as you, and probably not win as many go-rounds as you in that deal, more than likely.
But anyway, we had a lot of fun back in those days, traveling. That Philip Miller was a character now. I don't know if you ever remember Flip.
I know him really good. I knew him real good. They own the El Adobe down there.
El Adobe. Yeah.
Topa, Oklahoma.
Yep. That's it. And then Laura and I, we've been kind of trying to help Marcia get a lot of stuff sold, vehicles and stuff. So I run a Ford dealership there now in Cushing. Been there 20 years.
Well, how did you get in the car business?
Well, I was at school, at the superintendent's there at the school, and Mike called me and said, I need somebody to run that Cushing Ford dealership in that whole shopping center. He owns that whole shopping center. And I said, well, I don't know. So when I turned 52, I said, heck, I'm retired. So I retired from the school business, had 31 years in, and went over there and took that job and been there for 20 years. Yeah. So
You're the man. If anyone needs a car for their wife, truck for their kid,
that's it.
rodeo rig, get a hold of Bobby over at Cushing Ford dealership.
Ford dealership. And it's been difficult. We're having trouble. I don't know if it's like in it. Vehicles are hard to get. Yeah. Especially dualies. All cowboys want dualies. Have trouble getting them. Yeah. But you know, Mike, he's just pretty well. He's had a chance to sell all that and make just all kinds of money. Mike Bailey, which is probably one of the closest friends, if not a brother to me. And he just made the comment. He said, well, you and Laura need a job. We're just going to keep that. So he's been just like family to me. He's kind of took care of me. And plus, once I got that job, I can kind of get away and rope a little better now. It's shame I didn't have it first. Back, but I had to stay home. And Laura knew this. When I was married the first time, I kind of had to stay home when I roped the best to kind of keep my family together. And that's the reason I didn't go very much from the time I was, I got married at 27, and there for 20 years I didn't get to go much.
Yeah, family does cramp the rodeo lifestyle
Yeah.
sometimes.
And
Sometimes that'll happen.
Then Laura and I, the first few years we were married, I think we kept track. We were going out of 52 weeks or something. We was going 30. We went everywhere, and then we joined that. Always went to Smith Brothers down there at that roping, and they'd always have, 60, 70 ropers, and that kind of got started. We going down there, and then after Jimmy, which is a good friend, after he shut that thing down. Vance Walters took that over, and
I remember that.
yeah, and I think the year I won that in that American steer roping in '05, and I think Fisher and somebody else was I won that Integrity trailer, and but it was a lot of fun. And then I was going to tell you, your dad. We were roping in '04. Rock knew he roped better than everybody, back in. So he says, I'm going to have a 10-header. And so he had a 10-header at NRS. And so we all, must have been 30-some ropers. Everybody was there. I come out on my first one and boned him. I mean, didn't even hit him. And it just aggravated. And then I come back on the next night and ended up winning the saddle. Yeah, I got it there at the house. I think I got 20-some saddles in the basement.
Oh, well, yeah. Ken Bailey called me.
Yeah.
He said, we need to go down there and look at his house, Jimbo.
Yeah, and we've sold 2 or 3. I give 2 or 3 away, and probably 40, 50 I've won, imagine.
I probably won 20-something saddles myself, Jimbo, and or more. And I've never kept one. I've always stayed so dang broke, I had to sell the sucker to get to the next the rodeo.
Right.
Some
That's
of them
right.
I kept around for a little bit, but not one of them I ever had the enjoyment of ever keeping. My dad, I don't think we have any of his, but maybe 2 trophy saddles left. He sold all of his.
All them early ones I won in the team roping, in the calf roping, those Billy Cooks, they weren't very good saddles. But since these 20-some that I've won in the steer roping, they're good.
Oh, yeah.
They're good saddles. I've got Larry Dugan, I've got Travis McIntyre, and then Heisler.
Probably Howard Council.
I don't think I won a Howard Council. No. So, anyway, I kept those, and they try to buy them all the time. I said, no, I'm not going to sell them. I'm going to give them away. So when I get so old that I can't rope anymore, I'll probably start giving saddles away.
Those old timers back in the day, they didn't keep saddles because most of them weren't good enough to tie steer.
That's right.
They didn't have any use for them.
Now, that 99 saddle, when I won the rookie, it was the very last saddle that John Rule made. It's something. You need to see it. It needs to go somewhere. It's that pretty. It's got everything on it, special. It's probably $15,000, $20,000 saddle now. It's something. Yeah, and that's the very last saddle that he made. When he made the saddles out to national finals, and 99 was the last year that he made them. So anyway, pretty neat.
The club roping here used to give away hog saddles.
I remember that.
I had one. I sold it.
My dad had one. He sold it too.
Yeah. I bet Rocky won that out there a jillion times.
He won it a few times. I don't know how many.
Yeah.
He won it the last year I roped, and I don't know how many times he won it after that.
I bet he's won it 7, 8 times, I bet. I know Rod Hartness said he's won it 8, 10 times too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. They're
Rockin' Rod.
Oh, yeah.
I talked to him this morning.
Did you?
Oh, yeah. We talk. He's selling pipe and wanting to know what all's going on, what time we're going up. I won't go up till Thursday. The roping's Thursday at 4 o'clock. I'll head up there a week from tomorrow about 11, 12 o'clock. Get there in time to saddle my horse and warm up a little bit.
Bobby, what do? Do you have a exercise regimen that you go through or anything?
My exercise regimen is pretty well. Now, Mom here, she runs 3 miles every day, goes to Tulsa once a week and cycles, and on the weekend runs 7. I used to do that. Marty and I run 4 or 5 miles every day till I had my hip replaced. And now my exercise is work and rope. That's it. Running down the rope till there's not a dry thread on me. Yeah.
I think he runs all over that parking lot over there at the dealership, running down customers. I'll be right there.
But that's it. That's pretty well what I do. I got a little, little 15, 20-pound dumbbell that you'll pull on every once in a while, But I just try to keep moving enough. And if far as flexibility, not bad for 73. I can still kind of get down and get low enough to tie a steer. Yeah. But it's just really difficult trying to tie a calf now with my knee. Rod's getting his knee replaced right after the finals, and I need to, but I'll probably go another year. Try to get in one more year of steer roping before I get the knee fixed. And
Well, whatever you're doing, you could probably bottle it up and sell it, Bobby.
so,
You stayed pretty youthful.
it really isn't too much, other than just rope. That's pretty well it.
Are you working
Shoe
on
horses, I shoe my own horses. I'm real particular about that. I shot them for the public for 30 years. So now I just shoe my own.
Well,
Not down in the back or anything?
Nope.
I don't know very many 73-year-olds that still shoe horses. That's the hardest thing on your body. I can
It's
imagine.
pretty tough. Yeah. I kind of enjoy it, though.
I don't know any 73-year-old horse shoers that aren't hunchbacked.
At the end of the roping season, you pull your shoes off your horse and slap them on the butt and wish them well. I didn't even like pulling shoes off. I mean, that's hard on me.
Oh, yeah.
I just let mine fall off naturally, Jim.
Well, that
you
worked
go.
too.
There you go.
And then I saddled him up and went to San Angelo without even shoeing him or nothing. I had 4 shoes just barely hanging on by a couple nails one year I went there, Jimbo.
You about made the finals one year, didn't you?
A few times I
I
did,
knew you
almost.
did. Mm-hmm. We were pulling for
Close,
you.
but no cigar.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You sure did.
Are you working on a young horse to take the place of that 24-year-old?
Probably not. I got one there. He's a 12 years old. He doesn't belong to me, but I tripped a couple on him this week, and he kind of did pretty good. The guy that kind of started him let him kind of get a little quick. And I've been messing with him now for months, and I tripped 2 on him the other day, and he did well. Yeah, he did well. And a little long, but that can kind of be stopped. Yeah. But probably not looking for one, Jim. I figure if I can go one more year at 74 and rope a little bit, I'll probably start doing something else.
Cody, has there ever been an 80-year-old tie steer?
There, possibly. There's a guy named John Ray Powell.
Yes.
I saw him tying a calf down the other day on the internet.
Yeah.
And I don't know how John
I
Ray
saw
is
that.
now.
Yeah.
But I've seen him tie steers down, Jimbo, and he was getting
Close to 80.
pretty long in the tooth.
Yeah, he was. I remember. He was a friend of mine. Yeah. John Ray
Is he still alive?
No.
No?
Passed away.
That's hard to believe. I thought that
Yeah,
guy
he
lived
was
forever
a friend
for some
of mine.
reason.
He was roping in that like the 15 and stuff in that ultimate at I want to say at 90. Yeah, at 90 years old, he's roping calves.
He was dang close to tying steers down in 80 if he wasn't, Jimbo.
But he was John Ray was kind of he's probably my height, but he wasn't a fat boy like me. He was kind of thin and kept himself in good shape.
I saw him. He was like 78 years old.
Yeah.
And I said, "What are you up to, John Ray?" He said, "Oh, I got me a 2-year-old. I'm getting broke. I'm going to tie calves on her." I said, "Okay." And I'll be damned. I look up. He's 90 years old tying a calf down on that
That's right.
12-year-old horse now. So
They ask ever so often now. I trained horses for so many years, like calf horses. In fact, Walt White bought that little horse off of me and won the world 5 or 6 times on that little calf horse I trained. And I matched Walt on that horse before I sold him to him. Yeah. And then he bought him after that match rope, and Randy come to me, and they just bought that horse after that deal. Good little horse. Of course, he won 5 world championships in IRA on him. Yeah.
you rope with, you said Paul Magdeburg. Which a lot of
Paul-
people don't know Paul, but they might have heard of his boy JR. Which
JR
heck of
won
a
the
good
IRA
roper.
World Championship, made the finals in steer roping, roped with me every day. When he was winning the calf roping in the IRA, I spent most of my time training horses for him. He'd bring his horses in. He had good horses. But, if one get to ducking or short, I'd get on him and fix them for him so he could get back on the road.
Do you and JR tie a lot of steers together?
Yeah. He started tying steers at 15. He just didn't like it as much as this old man did. Yeah, real talented, had real quick hands, and could do it all. He just didn't, really like it quite as much. Rope calves real well too. Won IRA, of course.
What's he not like, the road or what?
I don't know.
I've always wondered.
Yeah, I probably that has something to do with it. Code probably didn't like the road, and
he won the Ben Johnson here, J.R. Magdenberg.
I remember that.
yeah, but that boy could really rope. Yeah, had a lot of good horses. Yeah, in fact, Mag mounted me on a lot of those steer horses when we go Jimmy Smith's for. You remember the old pokey horse that come from Bucky Hefner? Mm-hmm. I rode him quite a bit. I didn't own him, but I liked him.
Didn't he win Horse of the Year one year?
Probably.
I think he might have.
Yeah.
Maybe the year Bucky won Cheyenne and all that.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good old horse.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. Pretty quick, but boy, he was nice.
You don't see too many of them old campaigners around anymore, don't seem like, in the steer roping event. You were the king of buying them and giving them a second life there for a while.
Yeah, the old grub horse I bought, he come from J. Paul too. They didn't like that horse because he wouldn't get under the rope good enough. And I just rope on that horse. And, they kind of, them boys now, Code, they rope one boy, they want him falling back out of under there. And I just let him come across the pen. I won a ton on that horse. He was strong to horn, scored good, could really run the first 75, 80 feet. And so he was a good horse for me.
You did win a lot on horses. I felt like that some of the time they just didn't come back like they do now.
Not like the one I got.
But you get off and get down there and get your hands on those steers. And
then they started, Wade kind of got mad because they started in that senior deal, started giving seconds off. And, all those years, like now, everybody, unless you're in the top, I don't know, 30 or something, whatever, you're even. But everybody in senior steer roping gets a second off. Everybody, unless you're in the top 15 or 20 or maybe the top 30, I don't know. And then ever super senior, if it's a one tier, you get 2 seconds off. So when I go to a one tier, I get 1 second off. But I shared with somebody the other day, all those average ropings that I won, it wouldn't have made any difference. You don't get any seconds off. You go rope and tie. That's it. And very seldom do you go to those senior ropings that if you tie all 3 of them down, you're going to win something. That's just the way it is. So that's what it is. But a lot of people got mad over the seconds off.
Makes first in the go round pretty tough sometimes.
It kept me from winning some go rounds early. But here's the thing: it lets some of them guys that don't practice very much, and some of those guys that don't rope real good, it lets them win something once in a while. And I told somebody the other day, if you take all those seconds off from all those guys, you won't have senior roping. They just quit coming if they don't get seconds off.
Well, it's the same as a golf handicapper.
That's right. It's just like some of them get 6 seconds off a run, and they still don't win anything. A lot of times they win a little, but not a lot. So it's
mostly the same guys winning.
That's it. It's usually the same guys that, in that you got Buck Mecklenburg, he wins, he ropes good. Roger Branch ropes good, he wins. Shorty ropes good, he wins. Those are the ones that win quite a bit.
Did you ever rope with Roger much?
Oh yeah, Roger and I've been to his house and we roped and tied calves and he's come over a time or two and roped with me. Roger's ropey.
Why didn't you ever try to qualify for the NFR, Bobby?
Well, when I had a chance, it was always superintendent of schools. That's it.
Dang responsibilities. They get in the way of everything.
Yeah. I mean, I taught it was kind of a country school. We run about 200 kids, and I taught 6 hours a day. I coached 2 basketball teams. I drove the bus morning and night. I was superintendent of schools. I was the principal, and I did all the federal programs. It was an act for me to even be going. So that's the reason I didn't get to go much. Yeah, those 30 years right there.
Well, I think you've sure been a shoe-in if you ever decided.
I don't know about that.
No doubt about it. And I was real surprised to find out you never had, to be honest
Nope.
with you. But I just figured, well, guys got responsibilities.
No, all
That's
the guys I
only thing.
rope with, most of them, all them years, everybody been in national finals but me. Yeah.
Well, I sure think you're probably one of the most successful
Well, I don't
steer
think
ropers
that.
of all time, as far as winning percentage. And you've been roping against all the toughs your whole life,
Yep.
You are the tough.
Well, I don't consider myself that tough. I just,
Just go do your best and if they
I
let
just
you win
go
something.
rope,
Like,
and if I win something, I feel lucky.
He entered 8 this year, and he only won 6 of them.
Bobby, you roped in the seniors a lot and are still roping in the seniors. If you were making a Mount Rushmore of senior steer ropers, who would you put on it?
Well, of senior steer ropers, Arnold didn't stay hooked with us when I won it in 02. That was the first time I won it. He didn't come to enough of them. He might have still been roping in the pro rodeo some, but probably.
There's a few years he couldn't even compete in the seniors because you can't. They wouldn't let him rope in the seniors
That's exactly
and
right. You can't
the
enter 'em
NFR
both.
at the same time, and they had them both at the same place at the same time. So Arnold Feltz.
I'll be on.
Well, Wade Lewis would be one. He won
Okay.
it probably 6 times. Rocky would be one. He ropes better than anybody that I knew. Jim Davis never won it, but he went to him. But Jim roped good. Shorty probably now. He's won it.
You got to put him on there.
You got to put him on there. He ropes good. And Buck Mecklenburg just had won it one time. I'm trying to think who were some of the other guys when I was.
What about just steer ropers?
Huh?
Who would be on your Mount Rushmore of steer ropers? Don't have to be seniors. Don't have to be anybody.
Well, it too would be. It would be Trevor. It would be Guy. It would be Scott Snedeker, and probably Rocky Patterson. That'd probably
I
be.
figured you put Schode on there.
Well, I forgot about the old time guys. Yeah, I was just thinking about the new. The old time guys would probably be Clark McIntyre, would be Schode. I always like watching Sonny Davis rope, and I remember going up there as a kid and watching Sonny rope. Who were some of them other old guys that I roped? Yeah, Schode would definitely be on there. Would he win the world 4 times?
Yeah.
But back in then, it's a different ball game now. I can remember watching Schode and them guys. They'd run up there. Schode kind of always kidded about his swing his rope funny. He'd spin that rope up here and run up there on this side of them steers like Rod does. Boy, he'd rope them and then just kick old started by one. Was it Popcorn?
Yeah, he had popcorn.
Yeah. And he'd go by him. And then, he'd come watch me rope. Make fun and says, you don't know how to rope steers, ducking out. Oh yeah, he'd always give me a hard time about that. So, but yeah, those were probably the older guys would be definitely.
Well, you
would
didn't
be.
put Bobby Brock on there. You were too
No,
modest.
I didn't
But
put
obviously,
Bobby
you would
Brock
have to
on
be
there.
on the starter.
Oh, yeah, he'd be the
No, I wouldn't
George
put-
Washington
Yeah,
on the
he'd be
deal.
George.
I wouldn't put Bobby Brock on there.
10-time.
Yeah, right. You'd have to put Bobby Brock.
That's a bunch of them.
I'll put Bobby Brock on there for you.
Let's put him on there. He's on that senior Mount Rushmore.
For sure.
Done deal.
Yep.
We couldn't even have it without him on there.
No.
Yeah.
He'd be the first one they carve.
You've seen a lot of folks come and go,
I really have.
and you're still here.
I've,
He outlasted me in the deal, Jimbo.
I know
oh gosh. I remember that when you were roping. I remember when you was pretty young. Yes.
I don't remember much. I made a lot of memories for people, Bobby. I just don't remember most of them.
And the other day, Rock called Pate come down and stayed with me. Did he tell you?
You told me that the other day. Yeah.
He's a good boy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he thinks a lot of you. He really does.
We think a lot of him too.
Yeah, he's a good boy. Yeah, he come to me and he said, we were roping, getting ready. I was roping when he got there. And I said, saddle your horse, you want to rope? He said, no. He said, I roped this morning on that yellow horse. And I said, okay. And he said, now I want to take you and Laura out to eat tonight. And I said, no, you and your little girlfriend, you all go out and eat and have a good time. And I said, you're always welcome to come by and stay. So I thought he was going to stay all week, but I don't think he done good. And he said he was going to go home. I was there the next day getting ready to rope. And I said, what are you doing? He said, oh, we're going home. I said,
Is he back to roping too?
Who?
Pake. He's back to roping?
He team roping, isn't he?
Heck, I didn't know.
I didn't know it.
Didn't know nothing about it. He probably
Now
is.
you're talking about Pake. I'm talking Pecos is who I'm talking about.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
Oh,
You're little Pecos.
my nephew. I
I
thought
thought
you
you
were
talking
talking
about
about
Pake
Pake
McIntyre.
Talking, oh,
we
Pake
were talking
McIntyre.
about.
Oh no, I'm talking about little Pecos that come stayed with me the other day.
Yeah, he stayed with me the other day when he was
But
team
no,
roping.
I talk to Pake every once in a while.
Yes, sir.
We stay in contact with each other. Yeah, he's something.
I just
that
get
boy.
confused too easy.
yeah, me too. I was confused.
Did I have you confused?
Yeah. But we're easily confused.
Well, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. But yeah, roping, I just shared with somebody who worked all my life and made a living, but everything we got, that Mom and I got now, everything we got in vacation, everything's from a rope. So roping's been good to me.
For sure.
Yeah, it's been good to me. Don't go much anymore, but kind of just stay around home, try to get to enough where I can go back to the finals.
I think you're going to be that 80-year-old steer roper, though.
I don't
we
think
read
so,
about.
Jim.
I bet you will.
I don't think so.
I think so. He ain't looking for a horse, but that's when you find him.
Right.
Usually,
Yeah.
when you're not even looking, Jimbo.
I don't think so.
They're hard to find if you are looking.
Yeah, but all those guys that I enjoyed made a lot of good friends in there. I keep in contact with Rock and Wade and all those guys. I don't see Arnold much anymore.
He was up here, last year, Jimbo?
Was he?
That's spring.
He came and done a podcast up here.
He's a roping rascal.
He one of the best.
There wasn't none better to me. Where there's roping calves or anything, steers.
And I meant to ask him about why he has a toothpick in his mouth all the time when he ropes, but I didn't. I never did ask him.
Yeah, I didn't know.
I'm going to have to call him up and ask
Well,
him.
just a
about
nervous thing,
that.
I don't know. I wouldn't think he'd get too nervous about it.
He didn't seem very
No,
nervous.
I know, but I
No.
mean, just it makes him feel better, comfortable, or something about it.
That's the same thing about all the years. Now, they still do quite a bit, but there's not much match roping up here in Oklahoma anymore. They didn't do it like they used to.
You don't see him too much anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, they used to have them tournament ropings. We had tournament ropings back at home. You'd try to invite 16 of the toughest guys that you know, and then each of them rope 2 or 3 header, and then when you get to the finals, you'd rope a 4 or 6 header. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. We did a lot of that.
That's the way old Pake McIntyre ran the John McIntyre roping down there in Kiowa.
Pake McIntyre and I matched. I'll tell you about the match. We were roping, and I think I had a pretty good lead on him. And about maybe it was my last calf, my knee went out, and I just went over and couldn't walk, and went over and paid Pake. We were roping at Cushing. I think it might have been the pro. I can't remember. It might have been the pro rodeo. I won the pro rodeo at Cushing in 07. And we were riding around together. It might have been a senior rope. I can't remember. But we were riding around together, and he walked up to me and handed me a $100 bill. And I said, what are you doing, Pecos? He said, I couldn't have beat you in that match roping. And I said, what? I said, I'm not taking that 100. He says, you're going to take it. He said, there wasn't no way I was going to win that match roping. And your knee went up. So anyway, that's the story on Pake. Hand me that deal. I've never seen anything quite like that.
Why'd they quit having the pro rodeo over in Cushing?
So my sister and John Bryant run that thing, and said it lost money every year.
Yeah.
That's exactly, I think, why they eventually quit having the thing. It couldn't make any money. Lost, she said, 10, 15, 20,000 a year they'd put it on. Of course, the bank sponsored it. And the good thing about the new association that Mike Johnson and Rod Hartness put on, they add money to everyone. So now if they don't add money, I don't much go. So they, just like Rod added 4,000, and the next roping we went to was down at Ratliff, and it added 3. So all the ropings added 2,000 or better at the 4 ropings, and he said he's going to do it again this year. I see they got a casino built here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they may even get some more money
I
out.
hadn't went down there and tried my luck at it yet.
I haven't been in there.
I made a deal with myself one time, Jimbo. I don't go to casinos in my home state.
That's a pretty good idea.
We're heading to Las Vegas. We go out to finals every year, but we don't gamble and don't drink. So we people watch and eat real good. Yeah.
It costs something to eat out there now.
It's got outrageous.
It's crazy. I
It
bought a
is.
bottle of water last time I was there, Jimbo. $12.
It's ridiculous.
$12 for a bottle of water.
Lori gets up and run. I usually get up and walk. So we have a big time. We go out.
We can
there.
get it in there for sure.
Yeah.
No problemo.
That's it.
Well, if anyone needs a new truck or car, Ford,
Give me a call.
give Bobby a call right over at Cushing. If you need a CD with some of Jimbo's songs on it,
Jim,
call
you-
the museum right here.
You write songs?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well,
How many have you written so far?
31 or 2.
That's it?
32,
I
yeah.
thought you were up to like 37.
No, I'm 32. I'm
32
stuck on
songs.
32. Yeah.
Wow.
He's a heck of a songwriter. You'll be hearing him one of these days.
I'll be glad to hear.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Have you got them out to somebody?
We've got 2 that are on a CD, but we're working on putting the music to the rest of
I
them.
saw Pake. I got to visit with him at the national finals. He was there in the lobby singing and going along. Oh, yeah. Yeah. He told me he's having big time right now.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to different places, playing music and singing.
Yep. Good for him.
Me and Jimbo went down to do his house here a while back, and he wasn't playing or anything at that point. I think we ignited a fire under him,
Yeah.
Jimbo.
We got his fiddle out for him, and he played a little fiddle for us.
You know, I walked in the airport. I can't remember. Mom, were you with me? I walked in the airport. I don't know if it's Las Vegas. I don't know where we were. And man, there was a crowd gathered around somebody, and I heard the fiddle going along, and I turned around, whoever was with me. This is Pake sitting over in that chair. And sure enough, he was over there playing his fiddle. Yeah, he had a whole crowd around him right there. Yeah.
Oh, shoot. That's funny. Well, Bobby, we appreciate you coming down.
Oh, I've enjoyed it. Yeah, I've enjoyed it. You get to talk about old days and roping, and
Yes, sir.
yeah, it's been a blast. It really has.
We've
I
enjoyed
appreciate
having you.
I appreciate you asking me.
Everybody get up here to Pawhuska, see the museum. Be sure and like and share us on all the socials. We're on, I don't even know what we're on, Jimbo.
Everything.
YouTube, Spotify,
Right.
and all the other ones. I don't know them. But
And check out that Buck and Flamingo jewelry store.
get over there and get you some jewelry.
How's the addition coming?
We got that wall knocked out, Jimbo. You got to go check it out.
Yeah.
You're not going to believe it.
Wow.
We just doubled the size of the store. Largest turquoise store in the state of Oklahoma.
What about diamonds? You deal with any of them?
Yeah, we'll deal with anything. We deal with anything. We were in the pawn shop business for a long time.
You're not in the pawn shop business anymore?
Not anymore.
Oh, I didn't
No,
know
sir.
you weren't.
No, sir. We done moved on from the pawn shop.
Moved on.
Yes, sir.
Ken Dexter took over.
Yep.
Yeah, he's coming down this week.
Is he?
Yeah, he wants to come down and rope a little bit. I let him on that yellow horse, and he'll rope some, then we'll tie some. Yeah.
I bet he's pretty quick to tie with.
Oh, he's ropey. I mean, that's
How old is he now? He's up in his 50s.
53 maybe.
He's going to be one of them old roping guys, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's still competing with the young guys, 53.
Yeah. Yeah, he ropes awful good.
Always has. Hell, he heals good, too.
He
really does.
He does it all. Yeah.
Do you ever do much healing, Bobby?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, John Bryant and I won the URA finals. I was healing. That was in 76. That's 1976 when we won the finals up there. It was at the American Royal Building. Remember, you ride up that ramp, it's up on top? Yeah. It was at the American Royal Building, Kansas City. John Bryant and I won the URA finals championship, won a saddle apiece.
This is the winningest sucker I've ever seen, Jimbo. If you get it, if you're ever somewhere in a Calcutta and you hear the name Bobby Brock, it's safe money bet.
Right.
Buy him. All right. We'll see everybody next week. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Old stories like long lost friends, rodeos and late night bends, history before our time, round pens and pasture rides, cowboys of the Osage.